Behind me is a Bf-109, a German fighter from the Second World War. And this is a cutout of a Bf-109 cockpit. And we're gonna see if I, as a 6'2", 1.9 meters lad, can actually fit inside. So here we go. You ready? So far, so good. Oh, it's getting tighter. And we're inside. So far, I fit. But can I actually properly sit? Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah, this is cramped. I mean, my legs are fine. My arms are fine. I I have good forward freedom. Sideways is fine as well. I can manipulate the throttle just fine. I should be able to reach all the controls with minimal changes to my posture. The trim and the flaps wheel, yeah, I can operate those. Stick, let's see that. Pitch axis, just fine. Roll, problematic. Roll is very problematic. Somebody my size, and obviously I don't sit properly inside the aircraft. But otherwise, I think for somebody who's considerably smaller than me, it would be fine, and at the time they were shorter. So why don't we have my cameraman jump inside and see what he thinks. All right, Josh, I'm gonna plunk this on you, and then you give us your professional impression.
It's plain. Oh, you left the stick wrong. Oh, it's so snug, I could do everything in here. I can go up, I can go down, up, down, up, down. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes, I fit remarkably beautifully, and I have much more movement than you.
Yeah, you do. How tall are you again?
Classified.
Fits, doesn't fit.
Cool.
Now, after these first impressions, there are a couple of elements that I want to talk about with the 109 cockpit. Mainly to add a few important bits and make sure that what you see here has context, as the 109's cockpit is a topic I see discussed a lot. First and foremost, I have never flown a Bf-109. I know, shocker. This does mean that my observations are based on what I think, with some research, time in the cockpit and prior knowledge to put things into context. As you may know, I have about 60 aircraft that are in the Inside the Cockpit series already, and another 15 or so are waiting to be released. So while I may not have flown this aircraft, I have sat inside multiple World War II cockpits by now, so I believe that entitles me to have some broad observations about the different aircraft. Second, when I was at the Messerschmitt Stiftung, I met Volker Bau, who is a Bf-109 display pilot. Now, Volker was about my size. I believe that he even had a centimeter or two on me. So it's obviously possible to fly this aircraft for somebody of this size. And we also see evidence of this from World War II. Channel supporters and patrons, check your early access inboxes. And here's a small teaser for you. How do you find the cockpit ergonomics?
If you put you in a small box that's half of your size, then you feel like you're in the aircraft. So claustrophobic is definitely a problem, and you have no space at all. The aircraft was built around the pilot. There's not even a centimeter space.
Then, though this cockpit is overall representative of a 109, I don't know if the Messerschmitt Stiftung made some modifications to their own flying aircraft that gives somehow more room. Specifically perhaps by changing the position of the seat. This is a question I may ask when I get the chance in the future, though knowing them, they do take pride in keeping things authentic, which may mean that there are no changes indeed. Also, as you will have noticed, I did not sit on a parachute bag, which would take up more space. The seat inside the aircraft did not have the parachute bag provision, so the sort of the bucket seat, which means that things were generally evened out. I'm sure a lot of you are also wondering, could I adjust my seat? The answer is that in World War II, the Bf-109 seat initially was, as far as I can tell, not adjustable. However, with later versions, so for example, I have an extract from a K model flight manual, does suggest that at least the height could be changed. Then you may have noticed the leg placement I and Josh had. Josh sat with his legs open, mine were more closed. Could I have manipulated the stick better by adjusting my stance? The answer is yes and no. I of course tried, and also tried to adjust the angle of my body and my hips, but I couldn't really wrestle much more out of it. My legs filled out the space, and there was only a small window for movement as far as I could figure out. I think, although I didn't ask him, that the fact that Volker can fly this machine so well means that he may have found a way to shift his legs in the cockpit. Or maybe the roll axis just doesn't need all this input for the sort of flying that is done nowadays. I also want to add that the manipulation of controls and reading the instruments was possible without any hassle for me. This is a positive aspect about the aircraft that I wanted to add here in some more detail. So anything I would say that is shoulder upwards to the side and to the rear is really, really poor. But I think, considering the reputation of the Bf-109, one of the things that has to be pointed out is that the internal layout, even with the hood down, is not that bad. In fact, ergonomically speaking, there's a lot of positives here. So let me show you that. If I just open up this portion, just so you can have a better look. If we have the stick here and the throttle, me manipulating the throttle as well as reaching for any of the important elements and switches in the cockpit is relatively straightforward. All of that is in front of me and to the side, and there's ample of space even for somebody of my size, which means somebody that's shorter of the period would have absolutely no problem with that at all. And the other really cool aspect about the Bf-109 cockpit that I have right here, the instrumentation. That is actually really well laid out if you compare it to some other aircraft of the time where there was no standardization just yet, and these gauges were, you know, puzzled together haphazardly, and never mind, you know, they're sure there was always somebody thinking behind it, but the way it is laid out here is a very modern layout, and that is really, really good. The engine dials are perfectly in view as well, and compared to some other planes of the period that you see out there, this really is something where the Bf-109 shines at. So yeah, it is tight, especially once you go shoulders upwards, but from a perspective of manipulating controls, keeping an eye on your gauges, I would say there's a lot of good stuff here. So yeah, give and take. Finally, for me personally, sitting inside the cockpit was quite comfortable, as long as I didn't check my 6. In fact, we had to pause filming at some point for about 30 minutes due to some construction noises. You can't film them because of the audio. So I put earplugs in, jumped into the cockpit, closed the canopy, and, well, to my surprise, I almost instantaneously dozed off inside the plane. It was fine, almost cozy. I know some World War II pilots said they liked the tightness of the 109, giving them a very snug, homely feeling, as if being part of the machine, and I can see where they're coming from. Others, of course, didn't like the cockpit and preferred the Focke-Wulf 190. So as always, consider these impressions to be my very own and the very own impressions of those pilots as well. Mileage may always vary. Oh, and by the way, if you want to sit inside this 109 cockpit, you actually can. Check out the description for the museum's access requirements and their schedule. Let me know what you think about the Bf-109 cockpit in the comments below. Is there anything you find surprising, anything you want to add, anything you want to ask me about the cockpit? Put it down there and share your thoughts. Big thank you to the Messerschmitt Stiftung and Airbus for this fantastic access, and of course to the patrons and channel members for funding these filming trips. As always, have a great day and see you in the sky.